It's a very heavy feeling going from living with your kids, being around your kids 24/7 to within 24 hours being reduced to less than nothing. You can't even talk to your kids, the first year that I was homeless on the street during this divorce, I pretty much was not allowed to talk to or see my children. And my wife went about this in a backdoor way, like where she backdoored her way into a restraining order. So again, no restraining order exists. We've never been to court for domestic abuse, none of that. But she was able to get the township police to tell me that I'm not allowed on the property and I'm not allowed in the town without a court order from the judge explicitly stating that I'm allowed back in there. Mind you, no such court order exists. No judge should have to tell anyone that, hey, this man is entitled to a basic human right. You don't get to tell your husband and the father of your children and the stay-at-home parent that they're no longer accessible to human rights just because you want a divorce. So in the beginning, the first year, the judge flat out told her, you don't get to do that. You don't get to serve him and then put him on the street. And she was told she had to let me back in the house. And the judge explained that a court order like that doesn't exist. That's not a real thing. And my wife and her lawyer gave smug grins like they had caught everyone in a catch-22, and the judge said, you need to let him back in the house. And when my wife realized that the judge wasn't going to sign the court order, but that I was actually allowed back in the house, her response literally was, he's not allowed in the house, I don't feel safe. And the judge said, you don't get to decide if you feel safe or not when there are no charges, there's no evidence perpetuating that fact. And then she got real cold and straight up said, well, if you let him back in the house, I'm going to call the cops on him and have him arrested. And the judge said, oh, okay, well, then you need to pay to get him off the street. And she was given like another two weeks to a month to pay me. She didn't. We went back to court. She told the judge, oh, I don't have it. And the judge said, well, what about this 401k? Mind you, this is the first time I ever heard about that 401k. I had a 401k that right before she put me out onto the street, my wife emptied and somehow was able to get into my 401k without my knowledge and empty it. And they told me that I did it. And so it's just like, ma'am, this is the first time I'm learning that I even had a 401k. And the only reason I called the 401k company was because once I found out about her 401k company, I think I was talking to my mom. This is when I was still talking to my mom. And my mom brought up the fact that, hey, you worked at a company that had a 401k. So I did. And when I called to get the money so I could get off the street, lo and behold, apparently I had emptied it already. And they told me the date and everything. And lo and behold, it was a month before this woman put me out onto the street. And so 3 years ago, she was told to pay me from that 401k, her 401k now. The one that I never even knew about. And she hasn't. She's refused. She's blocked every step of the way. Her lawyer has done very illegal things to make sure that court order doesn't get followed. And now we're at the point where my lawyer's quitting. Like, it's like this whole divorce case, it's bigger than a divorce. It's literally just a tool for this woman to use to legally abuse her husband and get away with it. Because at the end of the day, it's been very blatant, the abuse that I've been suffering at the hands of this woman. And the courts have just, nope, forgive and forget, Mr. Green. Just move on. Just move on. Like, the woman is financially abusing me through the courts, and I'm supposed to forgive and forget and move on. But I'm being held to impossible standards that I can't even be held to because of a situation someone else put me in. And, like all of that. And then on top of all of that, I barely get to see and talk to my children, even now, even today. Like, even after they got their own phones, I still can't get in contact with them. Sometimes I'll talk to my oldest for like 2 hours, and then my middle son, I'll talk to him for about 15 minutes, but I never get to talk to my youngest, ever. And the only time I ever get to talk to him is if he comes into one of his brother's rooms while I'm on the phone, and then it's like a 2-second call, and his mom's calling him away. And so it's just like, it is a constant. Abusers and manipulators, they will never give you peace. Even when it seems like peace, it's not peace. They're setting some shit up that's going to fuck you up mentally. Physically too, like, to me, the most aggravating thing is that how she involves the children. She uses the children as playthings. And, like, our entire relationship, that has been my entire stance. Children should never be used in anything. In an argument, as weapons, as tools, as bargaining chips. Like, what type of adult, what type of parent has that type of mindset that this is okay? And, you realize she doesn't even view her children as human beings. They're just toys, pawns. And once she can no longer use them, she's going to do to them what she did to me, And I hear it from my oldest all the time. He's bitter, and I'm trying to squash that woman hater in him so that he doesn't grow up to be a man who just despises women. And yes, there's bad people out there. There's bad men, there's bad women. But you can't base every interaction, every person off those bad people. Like, I've had to hold strong to that, because yes, I have met other foul women too during this time, but like, I've also met very good women, and I reiterate that to my children all the time. Like, your mother and your mother's family, they're not all women, they're not all people. Like, yes, they are some pretty foul human beings, some foul individuals, but they don't define the whole gender. Like, what this woman has done is like mentally messed up three young men who, for what? Like, when you get down to the bottom of it, she fucked up my sons and myself for what? Like, because what really is she angry about? Is she angry that she stole my identity, that she defrauded the government out of money in my name, and then she, like, put all that debt onto me? Or is she angry that she put out her victim in a way that a lot of people would have played her game, would have killed themselves, gotten themselves taken out, gotten arrested, done something to her? She's angry that her plans haven't worked, that she isn't as smart as she thinks she is. Like, that's the things about abusers. They always think that they're smarter than they're the smartest person in the room. But once you figure out their patterns, it's very easy to see they're not that smart. They just know how to play the loopholes. They know how to play people's feelings. But smart? No. Mind you, this is a woman who dropped out of college after 6 months. So you couldn't finish college, but you could defraud and manipulate and abuse your husband and your kids. That's a special type of stupid to me. Special kind of stupid, because, like, you didn't use any of that knowledge to benefit your family. You just benefited yourself momentarily. This dumbest thief I've ever fucking met in my life. I'll be back.